second unit. This unit contains 5 chapters and the total marks weightage on it is 9 marks. 5 chapters and 9 marks. Chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8 और chapter 9. 5 हम कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं और आता है chapter 6. टॉपिक है एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ वाटर एंड एसेंट ऑफ सैप इन प्लांट्स, अर्थात पादपों में जल अवशोषण एवं रसारोहण. हाउ द प्लांट्स एब्जॉर्ब वाटर एंड हाउ द प्लांट how the water reaches up to the height of the plant. That is called ascent of sap. Water, we all know that life originated in water. We know that life originated in water and due course of evolution. Due course of evolution, it is dependent on water. अर्थात जीवन की उत्पत्ति जल में हुई और विकास प्रक्रिया के दौरान वह जल पर निर्भर रहता है. Every living beings, either it is microorganism, plants or animals, they depend on water for their metabolic reactions, for their physiological reaction, for their growth. Without water, we can't imagine the life will be success. So, life originated in water and in due course of evolution, विकास प्रक्रिया के दौरान, it depends on water. A simple cell contains almost 80 to 82% water of cytoplasm. The cell contains about 80 to 82% water in their cytoplasm, and all the metabolic reactions are held in the cytoplasm. Water is a good solvent. We know that water is a good solvent. Good solvent because why? Gases, minerals and most of the organic compound are easily dissolved in it. So we can say that water is a good solvent. Now, the source of water for plant is soil. Source of water for plant is soil water. And the source of soil water is rain. Again I repeat, source of water for plants is soil. The water contains soil is called soil water, and the source of soil water is rain. The mild rains percolate into the soil. Mild rain percolates into the soil and recharge groundwater. That is the source for plants. But when the downpour or heavy rainfall, most of the rainwater run off from the surface of the soil. Is called run recharge soil water, downpour or heavy rainfall is not suitable. When the rain is mild, the mild it percolates into the soil and recharge groundwater level. But downpour or heavy rainfall, most of the rainwater run off from the surface of the soil is called runaway water. It is not useful for the plants. It recharges rivers, it recharges wells, ponds, lakes, and finally excess water leads to the sea through the rivers. Now, the total amount of water in soil, total amount of water in soil is called hollard. The total amount of water in soil is called hollard. But this hollard is not easily beneficial to the plants because it has capillary water, hygroscopic water, and gravitational water. Gravitational water. The whole amount of water present in soil is called hollard, but all the whole water is not available to the plants. These are in the form of capillary, in the form of hygroscopic water, or in the form of gravitational water. Only the plants absorb, which is easily available to the plants, is called capillary water. Hygroscopic water and gravitational water do not available to the plants. The ability of water, which is easily available to the plants, it is called acard. And those amount of water which is not available to the plants, it is called crescent. So we can say hollard is equal to acard plus crescent. Now, absorption of water. In lower plants means algae and fungi. There is no special organs to absorb the water because they are thallus, belonging to Thallophyta. The word Thallophyta made about from two words. Number one, thallus, and number two, phyton. Thallus means that plant which is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. They are plants, but you can't differentiate the plant body into root, stem, and leaves, such as algae and fungi. Phyton means plant. The group of that plant is called Thallophyta. So in lower plants, especially Thallophyta or algae and fungi, have no special organs to absorb the plants and minerals from the soil. Algae and fungi, they absorb water and mineral by whole body. But in bryophytes, which are little advanced from the algae and fungi, they have absorbing organs or rhizoids. They are not true roots. They are root-like structure, but they are not true roots. So these are called rhizoids. So in bryophytes, either Marfansia, Trichia, Notothylus, Palea, these have small root-like structure, are called rhizoids. They absorb, by the help of rhizoids, the bryophytes absorb water and minerals from the soil. But in higher plants, either they are pteridophyte, either they are gymnosperm or angiosperm. They have well-developed root system. To absorb water and minerals. Now, the roots of higher plants, either they are pteridophyte, gymnosperm or angiosperm. The whole root cannot absorb the water and minerals, but some part of it absorb. So we can divide the root of higher plants into two parts. Number one, young part, and number two, mature part. The roots of higher plants as a whole do not absorb water and minerals from the soil, but its young part, only young part absorb. Mature part do not absorb water and minerals, because the cells of mature part becomes lignified and suberized, or both the lignin and suberin are impermeable for the water. So lignification and suberization of the cell wall of mature part do not allow to absorb the water. So the higher plants have young part which easily absorb water and minerals. The young part of the root has 5 parts, 5 zones. Number 1, root cap. Number 2, root apex. Number 3, zone of elongation. And number 4, zone of root hair. And number 5, maturation zone. These are the 5 parts of young part. Number 1, root cap. Number 2, root apex. Number 3, zone of elongation. And number 4, zone of root hair. And last, maturation zone or zone of maturation. Out of these, only zone of root hair absorbs water and minerals. So now we discuss all the 5 parts. That is the first part, which is the apex, just below the apex. It is called root cap. When the root grows and it moves down to the soil particles and rocks, they have some meristematic cells which is continually dividing. They have the power to divide continually and make the root increase in length. But due to friction with the soil particles, the root apex may be damaged. So the root apex makes a extra protecting cover. Extra protecting cover. The root cap is formed by the root apex, which has meristematic cells. They have the power of continuous dividing and make new cells. As a result, the root grows length in and continuously move through the particles of soil down to the earth. So they make an extra protecting cover to save itself. It means if a plant has not root cap, then continuous dividing root apex cells may be damaged by the friction of soil particles, and the root growth of root ultimately stopped. The plant will die. So the root apex makes its own covering by continuous dividing, that is called root cap. And if the root cap is damaged to the friction, it again makes the root cap. Make the root cap. The first portion is root cap. Second portion is root apex, which has meristematic cells. Or meristematic cells means they are cells which have the power to divide continually and make new cells. Due to that activity, the root ultimately grows and reaches down to the earth. In aerial parts, there are several root caps, aerial plants. But in hydrophytes, those plants grow in water are called hydrophytes. They have no root cap. They have a special structure in place of root cap. These are called root pockets. Root pockets, as in Pistia, Eichhornia. These are hydrophytes. In hydrophytes, there is no root cap. In place of root cap, they have a special structure called root pockets, such as Sagittaria, such as Pistia, Eichhornia. These are all hydrophytes. And in Pendanus, there are some aerial roots. Kevada, Pendanus root. They have many root caps in place of one. Generally, a crab root has only one root cap. So, second portion is called root apex. The cells of root apex are thin-walled, thin cell-walled, and abundance of cytoplasm and a big nucleus, because they are meristematic. The three conditions of meristematic cells are: number one, thin cell-walled, large number of cytoplasm abundance, and a big nucleus. It means they have the power of continually dividing and make new cells. New cells. Number third, zone of elongation. It is just above the root apex. It is just above the root apex. It is called zone of elongation. In this areas, in this zone, the cells are elongated. Cells are elongated and make the root increase in length. In length. And number four, zone of root hair, from here to here. This zone has unicellular root hair. Unicellular root hair. This zone absorbs water and minerals with the help of root hairs. Only this zone. They are very small, unicellular, and these root hairs are just outgrowth of the epiderma. It means epidermis of the root is called epidermis. Cortex. This is the outermost layer of the root. It is called epiderma. The cell wall of these strands and make root hair. These are long cylinder hair-like structure. It is called root hair. With the help of root hair, this part of the root absorbs water and mineral. Only this part. These are not absorbing even. And above that, it is called zone of maturation or maturation zone. This part do not absorb any amount of water and minerals because the cells of this zone are lignified and sugarized, and both the compound lignin and sugarin is not permeable to the water. So in young part of the root has 5 zones. First one, root apex, which protect the meristematic zone or content dividing zone. Number 3, root zone of elongation, and number 4, root hair. Number 5, maturation zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5th. First, root cap. Number 2, root apex. Number 3, zone of elongation, and number 4, zone of root hair, and number 5th, maturation zone. Now, mechanism of absorption of water. Mechanism of absorption. जल अवशोषण की क्रियाविधि. Mechanism of absorption of water in plant. Kramer, a scientist named Kramer, in 1949 proposed 2 theories, there are 2 mechanisms for absorbing water in plants. Number 1 is called passive absorption. Passive absorption, it means in this absorption no energy is required. Where in any process energy is not required, that is called passive. And number 2 is called active absorption. Active absorption. Number 1, passive absorption. Number 1, passive absorption. In this method, the factors which are responsible to absorb the water are present in transpiring surface. We know that plants do transpiration mostly through the leaf, because the leaf has minute pores on both the surface are called stomata. So we can say that leaf is a transpiring surface. Once again, in passive absorption, the factors which are responsible for absorption of water is transparent surface, mostly leaf. It means when the plants transpire, they pull the water column through the stem and roots. It means the active force are created in leaf. The cells of root and stem are only the path. They are not actively play a role to absorb. Only leaf creates a roll. In this method, the cells of root, the parts of root and stem do not play active role. They play as the path of water. Path of water. कहने मतलब यह है कि निष्क्रिय अवशोषण में वह प्रक्रिया है जिसमें जल अवशोषण के लिए जो कारक हैं या जो बल जिम्मेदार हैं, जो कारक जिम्मेदार हैं, वे वाष्पोत्सर्जन सतह के द्वारा होते हैं, यानी पत्तियों में होते हैं। और इसमें जड़ की और तने की कोशिकाओं का कोई सक्रिय योगदान नहीं था, वे केवल मार्ग का कार्य करते हैं। Only active agents or factors are played vital role in leaves. The cells of root and stem play for paths only. While inactive absorption, the absorbing factors or forces created in the cells of root. In the cells of root, and a root plays a vital role. Root plays an important role to absorb water and push that water column to the stem and leaves. Here, aerial part do not play important role. And here, the role of leaf is negligible. Only the cells of root play important role. In this method, energy is required. So, it is called active absorption. Now, passive absorption in detail. How the plants absorb water passively? We know that the plant absorbs about 96 to 98% of water passively. It means without expenditure of energy. बिना ऊर्जा खर्च किए हुए अपनी आवश्यकता का 96 से लेकर 98% तक जल अवशोषण निष्क्रिय अवशोषण होता है, जिसमें ऊर्जा खर्च नहीं होती है। Most of the water and minerals are absorbed by the plants with passive absorption. Why? How? Suppose that is a plant, underground part roots and stem and leaves. Leaves have stomata, a small openings on both the surface. In daytime, when the temperature is high, the water transpire in the form of water vapor. As the water loss in the form of water, a negative tension, a negative force is applied, because the water potential of leaf waves or wellnet, when the water is lost in the form of transpiration, as the person transpiration in the form of water vapor, a negative tension or force is created, because the water potential in the waves or wellnets is low, and this negative tension pull the whole water column of the stem and the root, so ultimately the root air absorbs water. Please note that in this process, root or stem do not play a vital role. They are only the path. For absorbing water, a negative tension or force is created by the transpiration of water. When the water loss in the form of water vapor during transpiration, a negative tension is formed, created. And then negative tension pulls the whole water column. whole water column towards the vein and veinlets of leaf, and continuously in the form. As a result, the water is absorbed by the root hair, and this water is continually upward movement. Upward movement. The evidence of this theory is when the transpiration is very high rate. At that time, absorption is also high rate. If the transpiration is low rate, then the water is slow rate. It means absorption of water is depend on the rate of transpiration. How much water vaporize with the process of transpiration? The total amount of water also absorbed by the roots. So, in passive absorption, water absorption factors or forces are created on the area surface or transparent surface, especially on leaves. The root cells and stem cells only provide tract or path. They play no vital role in passive absorption. Next, active absorption. Number 2, active absorption. This absorption is held in minute quantity. Only plants 2 to 4% of water of their need absorb actively. Or in this absorption, leaves do not play vital role. This process happened in low transpiration और विदाउट ट्रांसमिशन, अर्थात यह इस प्रकार का सक्रिय अवशोषण कब होता है? जब वाष्पोत्सर्जन बहुत कम हो या हो ही न हो, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग नाइट द रेट ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन इज वेरी लो, ऑलमोस्ट nil. Then the need of water is fulfilled by active absorption, and during this process the cells of root play active role. Because the cells of xylem in which the water is filled create a pressure or force. There is a pressure or force which is called root pressure, and that root pressure pump or push the water column towards the stem and iron in the leaf. For this, energy is required in the form of ATP, and that ATP is provided by the respiring cells of root. इस क्रिया के लिए ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता होती है. पौधों के जड़ों के द्वारा जो जल अवशोषित होता है उसके लिए ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता होती है, और वह ऊर्जा जड़ों की श्वसनकारी कोशिकाएं श्वसन क्रिया करती है, रेस्पिरेशन करती हैं, एटीपी बनते हैं, एंड दैट एटीपी, दैट एनर्जी pump the blood water up to the plant, but it is only 2 to 4%. That is called active absorption. Now, absorption of plants, absorption of water of plants, absorption of water in plants. When you cut a dipole root transverse section, you will find different zones. The outermost layer is called epiblema or epidermis, which has the root epiblema or epidermis. These are root hairs. These are root hairs. And multi-layered parenchymatous cells are called cortex. This layer is called cortex. And the innermost layer of the cortex is called endodermis. Then pericycle. And then xylem and phloem in the form of radial vascular system. Xylem, phloem, then xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, then xylem, phloem. This is the end. In the center, a small amount of pith is also present. It may be lost during development. So, when the plant absorb water through the root hairs, this cells becomes swollen up, turbid, and this water moves to the cells of cortex through the osmosis, and then next layer of osmosis, and finally to the endodermis and xylem. This path is called lateral flow. This path is called lateral flow. From the absorbed water, from the roots to the xylem, this is called lateral flow. When the xylem cells filled with water, then the upward movement is done. So there is absorption of water from the soil by the root hair to the xylem. It is called lateral flow, or it is done by three methods. Number one, apoplast. Number two, symplast. Apoplast pathway, number two, symplast pathway, and number third, vacuolar pathway. So it is sufficient for today. Tomorrow we will discuss about